Hello everyone, welcome to World Choir Council and the program Conductors Talk. This is the first version of this program series, and you are going to meet some wonderful conductors from all over the world who will present themselves and to give you some ideas of the pedagogical and the musical and the artistic work that they have been dealing with during their choral life. In this first program, you will meet two wonderful choral friends, and it's Maria Meligopoulou from Greece and Steen Lindholm from Denmark. Maria also serves on the advisory board of World Choir Council, and Steen is also a senior advisor in the advisory board of the World Choir Council. And I'm sure that you have met them both many times as jurors in some competition event around the world run by INTERKULTUR. So I hope that you will enjoy this talk show, and it will give some reflection of the choral life as conductors, teachers, and pedagogues. And I will start to ask some questions to Maria. So please, would you like to share your story? How did you become a conductor, and why did you went into the choral field?
Okay, my story is not an ordinary story. Yeah. Actually, before I became a professional musician, I was a lawyer, as I did my undergrad studies in law school in Thessaloniki, and I did practice for a few years as a lawyer. But my great love for music, as I was a choir girl since I was a very young kid, 9, 10 years old, couldn't let me be a lawyer. I was feeling that I have a great desire to be involved with choirs. And while being a lawyer, I was conducting as an amateur conductor a children's choir in Thessaloniki. So at some point, after a few years of practicing law, I moved to the United States and I did my master's degree in choral conducting at Boston University. And then I came back to Greece and I continued with my doctoral and postdoctoral studies. So now I'm an assistant professor at the Thessaloniki University, and I conduct children and youth choirs, which is what I love very much.
So your field are most in the children and youth choir, not dealing so much with adult choirs then?
It is true that since I was young, maybe it was because I was young, I had a great love for children's choir, and I did actually a lot of traveling and going to the competitions and working with children. And so when I did my doctoral research, it was focused on children and youth choirs. So I feel that I'm a specialized now person in children and youth choirs, and children give me always energy and this youthful happiness that makes me also feel that I am younger than I am. So I love working with children and youth.
And it's wonderful. We are all of us living in the international choral world. And I need to ask you a special question here, Maria, since you have been studying, you are from Greece, you have been studying in Boston in US. And of course, what kind of difference, attitude do you see in the choral life as conductor in Greece compared to the United States?
Well, it is two different worlds because Greece is a country with very different choral tradition. Actually, Western European choral tradition came to Greece only on the 20th century, and things were not the same as in the United States, where United States are very centered in the Western European music. It's a very long tradition. And also the American contemporary music is very European style music. And the educational system is quite different than the one we have in Greece. But I have to say that the knowledge I got in the United States and the knowledge I got in Greece, one completed the other. I feel that I got a great benefit from both sides of the studies.
Fantastic. Speaking of the different category of music, what is your top preference if you should choose? What do you want to live with most in the choral field?
Which era, which period, choral period I love the more? I think Renaissance and Baroque is my favorite, and then we go to contemporary.
Okay, so why don't we listen to some Baroque music? Do you want to introduce the thing that you're going to play for us?
Yes, it's a very new release. Actually, we filmed it last week at the Thessaloniki Concert Hall because last Sunday was the Greek Orthodox Easter. And it is Bach's Cantate number 4, Christ lag in Todesbanden, and this is versus 1.
Okay, thank you so much, Maria, for this wonderful music of Bach. Steen, now it's your turn, my neighbor in close to Sweden. How did it start for you, your choral life?
Well, I'm not out of a musical family, but I have always been fond of touching a piano and trying to make nice sounds on the piano. But when I got to school, began at school, the singing teacher found that I had a good voice, so he sent me to the Copenhagen Boys Choir School. That is something, a Danish version of the Thomann Choir. So you go to school and you have a lot of singing lessons, a lot of solfege lessons. So it's a professional education for small children. And afterwards, I joined the Copenhagen Boys Choir as a singer, a very bad singer. It was told me later on that I was not one of the best, but I loved it. But I was playing the piano, so the conductor, famous Danish choir conductor Mogens Vøldige, who is also internationally a fine name, I think he was the greatest Danish choral conductor of the 20th century. He asked me if I would like to play at the rehearsals with the big choir. I still remember the first rehearsal I had to play. It was a St. Matthew Passion with 8-part score, and sitting there and trying to play for this very famous old gentleman. That was something I was terribly nervous, but well, it must have been going good, well, because I was later asked to be his assistant, and was his assistant, in fact, for more than 10 years. And also, when I had my education at the university, the Music Academy, I was asked to be his assistant organist at the Copenhagen Cathedral. So, and then it has been going on from there.
Yes, you mentioned, Steen, Mogens Vøldige. That's a very famous name in the choral field. And please, you must tell us some secret. How was he? I mean, you have been worked with him. It's fantastic. Please say us some secrets.
Well, he was a dangerous person, a very strict conductor. And he said when we were rehearsing, for instance, the St. Matthew Passion, well, we are going to start from the letter G and here. So you had in front to think, where is he going to start? Because if you didn't start at the piano, he just waited. He stood with his hand down and waited until you started. And there was a terrible silence until you started. but he was a fantastic, good musician, very gifted. And he was, he was active also until he was in the 80s, 85, 6, 7. So
wonderful. So what is your top preference when I know that you have been swimming in many different kinds of music water, but what would you say that would be your top preference then?
Yes, you're right. I've been riding many horses. I've been working with children. Later on, I was chief conductor of the Danish Boys Choir. I have been working professionally with the Royal Opera Chorus in Copenhagen, where I was choir master. I have been working with my oratorio choir, the Copenhagen Concert Choir, making oratorios and such things. And well, with adults, with children, with church music, with secular music, with professionals, with amateurs, and so on. So, well, you are right. What is best? I don't know. It's fantastic. Everything is fantastic. But if I should take something with me to this famous island where I could only bring one piece of music, I think it would be church music, and I think it would be Bach.
Okay, that's not a bad choice, of course. So what kind of music would you like to share with us here today, Steen?
He's the greatest composer, I think, from all the big family of composers. And I have a recording from the Christmas oratorio, a live recording. I don't know if the technical standard is so good, but in fact, I I've never liked to do CDs and such things. I hate that situation because I do not find it natural. So I prefer live recordings, even if they have mistakes here or there. So because they are live, and that's important for me.
Thank you so much, Steen, for sharing Bach. So it was two Bach pieces here from both of you. What a great start. As a chorister or a conductor, I'm sure that you have the moment, the one and only moment who made the greatest impact in your music souls. What is that you are thinking about? And I will ask Steen first. Do you have such a moment, something?
I'm a lucky man because I have several moments in my life which have been very special to me. But I still remember my first performance with the Brahms and Deutsches Requiem, which was a fantastic thing for me. I had promised myself I wouldn't conduct this piece before I was at least 40 years old, because I think you need to have some age to do that fantastic piece. But of course, I am the person I am, so I think I was 38 when I did it. I'll never forget that concert. It was in the Tivoli Concert Hall in Copenhagen. Oh, fantastic. Well, later on, I was so happy that I was asked to make the study with the Danish radio choir for the German conductor Kurt Sanderling, who was at that time about 80 years old. And he was a fantastic person. It was so fine to meet him. And then I asked him, fantastic, you have done this work very often, haven't you? No, he said, it's the first time in my life I'm doing this work. 80 years old or something. I said, wow. Yes, he said, first I was in Russia, I was conducting in Leningrad, and Ravinsky wanted to do the orator. So, okay. Then I was in Berlin, and my colleague there, he wants to do the orator. So, well, but now I shall do it. And it was a fantastic performance.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this. What about you, Maria? What do you like to share with us with your personal feelings?
Well, as I told you, I have a different background with being involved in music. And for me, a landmark of my life was when I met with Jim Bartell-Ashworth in Tuscany as an amateur conductor of the children's choir I used to have before I did my professional studies. And I met her in a children's festival in Tuscany that were 5 choirs from the United States, 1 from Australia, and 1 Greek choir. And when we met, she inspired me in such a way that it changed my life. And I decided that I will quit from law and I will become a professional musician. I will never forget that year. It was summer of 1997.
Wow. Okay, that's wonderful. Yes, I think we all have those moments that we are very dear to us, and we keep them with us every day, more or less. Speaking about the impact of music and conductors, who has been your big mentor, Maria?
I just mentioned her. It is Jim Bartell-Ashworth, who is an expert. Now she's retired, of course, but by that time she was an expert in children's choirs in Canada. And actually, before I did my studies in the United States, I studied with her for 2 years. She invited me in Canada to work with Toronto Children's Choir. And a great experience for me was to conduct this choir at the St. James Cathedral during a spring concert.
Wow. And Steen, who has been your mentor? Was it Mogens Wöldike, or was it someone after him? Or
Well, of course, it was first Mogens Wöldike, but it was also, of course, Erik Eriksson. I think every conductor in Scandinavia has Erik as something very special, and I was so happy also to meet Erik and to be a friend with him and study with him also once with the Swedish radio choir. So he was a fantastic person, and his way of teaching was so wonderful, because Erik's way was, when he was looking at a student, he said, well, let me see how the student is doing the things. I'm sure you know, Fred, about that. And well, instead of saying, here I am, I have a very special way to do the things, I want you to do the things in my way. No, Erik said, let's see how you do it. It's good. Well, it's interesting. Let's work from that.
Yeah, I recognize that very much. It's wonderful. So you're going to play another song for us, Steen. What is now? Is it Bach again, or?
No. Now we go to the Danish Boys Choir. I had a fantastic time with them. 12 years I was chief conductor. It started when I was asked to conduct them on a tour to Leningrad or to St. Petersburg, which was the new name of the city at that time. Well, originally I had just thought that I should conduct the choir just on that tour. But during the tour, one of the small boys came to me and said, well, you are staying with us, aren't you? So I stayed with them for 12 years. And well, I'm lying, for 14 years. And we made a very fantastic repertoire, because, you know, I love church music, but I also love opera, and I also love to make jazz. And inspired by Sweden, we in the Danish Boys Choir made some arrangements with jazz choir and a jazz trio. And I'm going to show you one of the pieces we made with the Danish Boys Choir singing jazz. It's not normal, but we had fun, I can promise you.
Great, yes, I'm quite sure. So now we're going to listen to the Danish Boys Choir.
Take it
Thank you very much for sharing this wonderful piece of music, Steen. Now in this program, I've been thinking also, because I know that you have many ideas about how to conduct, how to be as a pedagogue, your expertise and so on. And I would ask you to put one question to each other. So I would ask you, Steen, what question would you like to ask to Maria?
I would like to ask you if there is a piece of music which you haven't done before and which you would really want to do.
It is one piece when I was doing my studies in Boston University, and this is War Requiem by Benjamin Britten. But it is a piece that you fall in love with it when you sing it, I think, more than when you are listening to it. And my dream is that maybe one day I will be able to conduct it or to teach the mixed choir. I have done so far only the children's choir part at the Thessaloniki Concert Hall, along with the London Symphony Choir and the Thessaloniki State Orchestra, but I have not done yet the mixed choir. So this is my dream.
Wow, that's great. Maria, what you would like to ask Steen?
I would like to ask Steen if he was having one more life on Earth and he was musician again, in which country he would like to live and why?
Oh, that's a good question. I would like to live in Germany and living in Bayreuth and standing and conducting operas by Wagner.
Wow. Wow.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Great. And we are coming soon to the end of this show here, but we have some more questions to deal with. And one thing maybe is a little bit challenging question that I would like to ask you. And everyone who's going to be in the show in the future will have this question also. And that if you look back to your choral life and reflect a little bit, what do you think you have been good for? What has it meant for other people that you have been doing? And I will start to ask Maria.
Well, looking back to my musical to choral life, I believe that being specialized in children's choir, there has been quite a good contribution in the development of children and youth choirs in Greece. As we have organized at the Ionian University with my former supervisor, Dr. Kaldi, the Summer Academy for Children and Youth Choirs that we have been organizing since 2010, and more than 1,000 young conductors or students who would like to, were studying choral conducting, have been educated. And I also ran for the past 10 years the Children and Youth Choir Festival at the Thessaloniki Concert Hall, that we focus on children and youth choirs, and also we do educational projects. And there are also a good number of seminars and master classes that are focusing on school and children / youth choirs. And we have been a great development during the past 15 years in Greece.
So your footprint are more to the children and youth choir, and of course that is building the future, and that's a wonderful goal to have that. And I'm very sure that you have made a huge impact to the young singers around the world.
Yes, as I mentioned before, because Greece is a country with no long tradition in choral music, we believe that having good children and youth choirs we build for the future. Then we will have good and even better adult mixed choirs in the next years. It's part of our philosophy.
Yes. And Steen, what about you? What do you feel in this question?
Well, I think when I look back on my long life as a conductor, both of children's and adults, professionals, amateurs, and so on, I hope I have made a difference. I think that's very important for me, because music is such an important thing in the life of a mankind, peace creating, and very important for the way we are handling or dealing with each other. So I hope that I have made a difference. I have tried my best. I hope I have succeeded in some time at least.
I'm pretty sure that you have made a difference in the best ways, Steen. Thank you so much. And Maria, you before we go to the last question here, you will play some more music for us. What is that?
Well, the second piece, the former piece was with my mixed youth choir of St. Cyril and Methodius choir that I established in 1992. And the next piece is with my children's choir during a choral festival in Switzerland in 2016. And we sing Greek music, a song by Manos Hadzidakis. It's called Deep Sea.
Thank you. It was great to have some Greek music. Thank you so much for that, Maria.
You're
Finally,
welcome.
Now we come to the closure of this program, and I would like to ask you to give one sentence that you would like to share to the international choral world. Who would like to start? Anyone? I will not say anyone. You can start. Who would like to start to say something?
I think we're going to say the same thing, Maria. We're going to say in these terrible Corona times, keep on. Do not lose courage. Keep on.
Keep faith to choral music, and better days are already coming. Don't lose your faith.
Thank you so much. Yes, I totally agree. Stick together and fight this Corona war together, and we will come out of it, I'm quite sure. I would first thank you both so much for taking part in this show. It's been a pleasure and so exciting to hear and what you have been sharing with us. I also would like to thank you to the technical staff from INTERKULTUR for making this possible. And we're going to have this show about every third month. So watch out, in 3 months, you will have a new Conductors Talk with new guests. Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Steen. And goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Three, two, one, smile.